the Planet Rock Podcast, the hottest show in the cosmos. Get ready for insight and inspiration right here on Planet Rock with your special guest, Lady Lakisha Barrett, and your cosmic guide through our ever-changing space and time. I'm your host, Raquel Herring.
Welcome to the Planet Rock Podcast, the hottest show in the cosmos, where we celebrate and explore stories of faith, resilience, transformation, and empowerment. I'm Raquel Herring, your cosmic guide on this wild ride called life. Join us every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time for powerful stories and insights that delve into all things relationships, personal growth, entrepreneurship, and more. Tune in on envision-radio.com and catch our video replays on my YouTube channel, Raquel Herring, premiering every Saturday. Connect with us on social media at planetrockpodcast.com. Let's elevate your life one episode at a time right here on Planet Rock, where every moment is a step towards your personal victory. Looking to reach an engaged and enthusiastic audience? Here on Planet Rock, we offer a variety of advertising and sponsorship opportunities across our podcast, YouTube channel, and in our magazine. Align your brand with a vibrant community eager to grow and connect. Whether you're looking to showcase your product or highlight your services, we have the perfect space for you. Email us today for more details and join our cosmic journey of growth and connection at planetrockpodcast.com. Today's episode is going to be powerful, uplifting, and transformational. We're diving deep into purpose, faith, and embracing your worth with an incredible guest. She is just absolutely amazing, magnificent. We're honored to have and welcome Lady Lakisha Barrett, a powerhouse of faith, inspiration, and empowerment. Lady Lakisha is the founder of More Than a Trophy Foundation, a life coach, gospel recording artist, actress, and first lady of Do Right Christian Church, alongside her husband, Bishop Michael Barrett in Los Angeles, okay? Through her foundation, she is dedicated to helping women break free from limitations, step into their God-given potential, and realize that they are truly more than a trophy. She's also a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother, using her journey and platform to uplift communities and spread messages of hope. Get ready for an inspiring conversation on faith, purpose, resilience, and how to embrace your worth. Welcome to the Planet Rock Podcast, Lady Lakisha. How are you?
I am great. That Planet Rock is the show. Stop. I was like, all right, she went back. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. You had so much energy. You know, I just love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. I just love your energy, your beautiful smile. And thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming on. I've been wanting to get you here for the longest. I don't know. This is probably going to be a two-parter at some point because I don't know if we're going to get it all because you have so much. You have so much and so many things to talk about. You're so multifaceted in your journey and getting where you are now. And I want to hear about it. We want to hear about it and just be empowered by your story because I know it's uplifting. I know it's about resilience, transformation, and empowerment. And that's what we talk about here on Planet Rock, as you heard 1,000 times.
All right.
So let's start with purpose. So many people feel stuck, especially kind of like even now. How do we begin to discover our true calling?
Ooh, child. Well, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm working on my done list instead of my to-do list. Because my to-do list is allow me to procrastinate, and I have that disease of procrastination. And so I am going to therapy for my for my procrastination. And so instead of doing a to-do list, I'm working on a done list to get things done. Procrastination, people don't know. I believe it's a generational curse. If that is something that is embedded in your DNA, in your family, in your surrounding environment, that is something that you can carry with you and carry amongst you. And so to be able to get rid of the procrastination, you have to just get with yourself, to get to know yourself, to love yourself, and to evolve within and from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay. The done list. I like that. Yeah, because I try that to-do list and it just feels like it never ends. It gets longer and longer and longer. And you don't feel like you've gotten like that satisfaction of finishing.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna do the done list too. I like it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Done.
It's been a journey.
You,
I mean, it is a journey.
yeah. You say that women are more than a trophy. What does that mean to you?
That means everything. Raquel, I used to be a trophy. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri, but when I very first started dating, I started dating a professional athlete. Then I moved to Kansas City, and I mean from Kansas City to LA in my early 20s, and dated other professional men, and I became a trophy. I was something that men, they preyed upon to fight hard to get, buy you this, impress you, do this, do that, and then they put you in a nice house or put you in, on a shelf and bring you out to the awards and bring you out to show you off, but they didn't do enough to keep you. They didn't do enough to satisfy you. They worked hard to acquire you, but they didn't work hard enough to keep you. And so I found myself doubting myself, trying to figure out, what could I do better? What did I do wrong? How did I get here? Why am I not happy in this big house with, the clothes and the jewelry I was not happy. And it wasn't until after years later, when I met my now husband, that he affirmed to me how beautiful I am and how important I am, and supported me and poured into me and reminded me that I am more than a trophy. And so that's where it came from. And once he became pastor of Do Right, the first year before our installation, I did my first women's conference, and I named it More Than a Trophy.
Mm-hmm. And that inspiration came from what you had been experiencing along the way.
Most definitely, just from my life journey of realizing, that I'm more than a trophy. I was always in church, but church wasn't always in me. I went to church because that's what I was supposed to do. My grandfather was my pastor. I was in the church. I was in the choir. I was my grandmother's armor bearer. I was in the usher board. I directed everything that could possibly be done in a church. I did because I was supposed to do it, because I had to do it, because my grandfather was my pastor. And then I was quick to get to the club once I got partying age, and I started partying young, like ninth grade. I always hung with older women and had older cousins, and I was a fast girl, and so once I started dating and the type of environment that I was in, dating a professional athlete, or, unfortunately, even sometimes the biggest D-boy in town, you know what I'm saying? There was a certain type of aura that came with that, certain type of responsibility. The men wanted you because of the man you were dating. So you thought that you were just that chick. The women didn't like you because of who you were dating. So it became the men wanted you and the women wanted to be you. And so I thought that I was her, that I had it all, together. And when I really, really, really tapped into Christ, when I really lost everything, when I went from a Bentley to a Buick, that's when I realized that I had nothing, that I was just a trinklet of, an idea for someone else to think about. I became someone else's idea, and I didn't like myself. I didn't want to carry the purses. I had pictures and I had memories, but my memories to other people were fond memories, like, oh, this person, or you dated this person, or you was at this award. But I wasn't happy. I was very unhappy.
Yeah. Now we see this a lot. I mean, we see this a lot of the women in the awards. Some people try to tell it and say, this is not like what you cracked up to be, that life of being that trophy. And some young women just don't get it. What can they look for so they'll be able to recognize, hey, I'm being treated like a trophy here, and I'm more than that? What would you tell the young girls, or even someone my age, what to look out for?
First thing I want to ask is, what do you want? What are your expectations of life, of you? What are your expectations of you? Who are you? What do you love about you? What do you like about you? And if you were talking to your younger self, what would you say to your younger self? If you were talking to your older self, you were a younger woman, what would you want to say to your older self? Because you were caught in this, this fake life of everything is bigger and better. So many young women and people are getting, cosmetic surgeries, and no one is happy where they are. And sometimes, instead of trying to figure out tomorrow, understand that today is a present. So enjoy this gift. Why worry about your birthday next year and you haven't even made it to your birthday this year? Why worry about tomorrow when you have 24 hours in today to make today the best day? Some people get a report from the doctor, or a report something's going to happen, and instead of them being able to have just a smile for today, they're too busy crying about next Wednesday. And you haven't even smiled about this Wednesday. So learn how to live in the present, because the next hour is not promised to us, let alone tomorrow. I'm learning how to live in the now, and I'm learning how to no longer care. Because when I did care about what people thought about me, about what people said about me, about, if I were good enough or thin enough or big, it worried me to death. Now, because I'm a lover, a giver, and a forgiver, but I don't care anymore. Your 911 cannot be my emergency. And so I am stressed and sucker free.
Okay, I heard that. What would be like your tips, your guidance on being in the now, staying present? Because we have worries and we're thinking, because I know I do it, I'm thinking 10 years out. And I'm like, my gosh, I'm thinking so far out, I'm missing the moment where I really could prepare for far out. And I'm missing these moments that when I get far out, the time I spent worrying about, I could have been preparing for, but I was so just out there and not focused on the present. Like, what can I do in this present moment for just right now, right? So what would you tell, people how to stay in the present?
Get busy.
Get busy.
Get busy. Idle mind is the devil's workshop. And so it's not enough to have a New Year's resolution every year, and then by the 22nd, you failed that New Year's resolution. So you say, oh, well, I failed it. So then for the rest of the 11 months, you go back to the same way of life. Get busy and get surrounded. If the people that you are around are not smarter than you, are not encouraging you, are not pouring into you, you're in the wrong room. And if I'm not going to be in the room, I don't want to be the smartest one in the room. I want to be in a room surrounded by others that are smart, that are pouring into me. I'm a first lady. So what I'm doing this year, I already have an appointment for February to meet with Dr. Price, Betty Price. Why? Because to me, she's the most amazing first lady. I admire her. So I want a meeting with her. They're like, what do you want? I just want her wisdom. I want her to pour into me. I want to learn from a first lady that has traveled the country, that has stood by her husband's side, that have went from no members to thousands of members. I want to learn from her because I don't know it all. I don't have it all. Now that I've started my More Than a Trophy Foundation, I have women of all ethnicities, age, and color from all over the country. I just spoke on a Zoom in Dubai last week. So people are looking at me. But when you look at me, I want you to really see who I am and what I'm doing. I don't just want to look like I got it going on your podcast. I want to be that with my children, with my grandchildren, but more importantly, I want to be what people want me to be for them, for myself. And for a long time, I wasn't her. I was that for everybody else but me. So what I would say is become your list. If you have a list, that's good. Sometimes we as women, we write this list of what we want for a husband. I wrote God a letter of what I wanted a husband. And I didn't talk about him being all rich and big and macho. I said a man of God, one that was going to hold my hand, go to the PTA meetings, the simple things. Sometimes we make life so complicated, and it's really simple. A lot of us women, yes, we want to be romantic. Yes, we want men to open up our door. But something so simple as open up a door means more to us than you buying me a dozen of long stem $200 roses on Valentine's Day that's going to die. And I got a $99 bill due. Don't come, $200 roses and I got bills due. Hand me the money because the rose is going to die. And I'm going to be sitting with some dead roses and my lights out. Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Right. Right.
So
what are some go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, so I want to become your list. If you have a list, if you have goals, become your goal.
What are some of the biggest barriers people face when stepping into their God-given purpose?
Fear, because when you're stepping into your God-given purpose, it's very uncomfortable. And it's very unclear to you. You're in treaded waters. It's very unclear to you what is next. Even though I was in church, it was very unclear to me what was expected of me. I'm a licensed minister. So that means more to me than a first lady, because I tell my women all the time, I'm not the first lady, I'm the only lady. However, God forbid something happened, you're only in my face now because I'm the bishop's wife. If he replaced me with somebody else, you're going to be in her face. So I need to know where to lie. That's the truth. So I need to know, I need to affirm myself. I need to say, you know what? I'm not the first lady. I'm the only lady, but I'm a licensed minister. I am a self-made woman. So my husband, you met he's like, this is my wife. You see me, you see him. But even if it wasn't that, I have to show up being who I am with my game face on. So I had to learn how to listen, how to hear, how to heed, and how to not take things personal. That's hard. And when you come into Christianity, you got to put on your game face. You got to let all those feelings aside, because people are going to hurt your feelings. People going to stab you in your back. They're going to step on your toes. They're not going to come to you all, hunky-dory, because God don't. If God can tell us no, if he can rain on the just as well as the unjust, if he can make a faithful member sick, if he can make an amazing person die, if he can make someone that have everything home burn up, what make us think that we're omitted from anything? We're not. In order for us to know our growth, appreciate our growth, we have to fall. I would not be who I am today had I not lost everything, and know that I came from the bottom. Now I'm here. Know how to start. Yes, I had amazing life, but I also had hard times. I also been on Section 8. I had a daughter that had a brain tumor in front of me. I had nothing at one time. My bank account was negative. Didn't know where my next meal was going to come from. And I had to learn how to get out of bed, how to get up. I had to go to church. I had to learn God for myself. I had to trust God for myself. Stop having a pity patty party and put on my big girl panties and say, okay, what you got? What else you got? Because we do this. I can't believe this happened to me. Believe it. It's happening. Believe it. What you mean you can't believe it's happening?
Right.
Well, I pay my tithes, but why are you paying your tithes? I give all this money to the church, but why? Are you giving to it because that's what God told you to do? Because every good idea is not a God idea.
Mm-hmm.
We get that confused.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got for you.
Because every good idea is not a God idea.
No.
And we get that confused. So unconfuse that for us.
Recently, my husband and I had an amazing idea to purchase my childhood church.
Okay.
Went before our board, did everything that we were supposed to do. And in the end, they chose to sell the church to someone else. We were devastated in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we said, God, my husband's like, I wanted to buy my wife's childhood church and we were going to do this and that. And I'm like, God, how did that happen? We went to you, but did we really hear from him? Did we go to God and say, God, this is what we want? Or did God say, this is what I want you all to do? When it didn't happen, it hurt. But then other opportunities came about to where now we're booked and busy with so much of our other stuff, because aside from being bishop and first lady, we are business owners. We have our own businesses outside of the church, because the church is our calling, but we also have jobs.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of that confused. People want us to be available. Why is it that the bishop and the first lady got to be at everything, but we look for y'all and y'all not there? So a lot of times we have expectations of other people more than what we are willing to do for ourselves. I was divorced before my first marriage. I went in. I got to get married before I'm 40. Okay, that happened. Had a baby. By the time my daughter was 1, I'm getting a divorce, and I'm like, Lord, how'd you let this happen? He said, I never told you to marry him. You said that was your husband. I didn't. Now you mad at me because you went on and did something you wanted to do, and I never told you. Was it a good idea or was it a God idea? It was a good idea to be married. But if he wasn't my Boaz and God didn't tell me, because a lot of times that's what we do. And the Bible says he that finds the good wife, finds the good thing and obtain favor. So we have to find out, are you a good thing and are you favored? Because just because you're a woman, just because you cute in the face and slim in the waist, don't mean you a good thing and don't mean you favored. So, I'm learning those things about myself. And I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm the best version of myself, and especially moving toward this year. I entered in some things. I went to Dubai last year and just some things started happening. And, I was on a money hunt. Oh, I got to do this to make money. And it's like, okay, you can make money. You've had a lot of money, but were you happy? Now, we have to have money to survive. But some things that are good for some people may not work for others. So what makes you money may not make me money. What makes me happy may not make you happy. Doesn't mean that it's not a good idea. Doesn't mean that, it's not good advice. But I'm wanting to make sure that in this season of my life, because I'm 53 years young, and I believe, according to my bloodline, my grandfather is 94, my grandmother is 90. I got at least 40, 50 years in front of me. I want to make sure, and the ones that are before me, that I'm really doing God ideas with the good ideas that God has given me.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you were in the music business, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us about that?
So when I moved here in 93, I was in secular. And I seen a lot. That's a whole nother. I seen a lot. Um,
Wow.
I was friends with a lot of what most people would call celebrities.
Okay.
I seen a lot, and
Mm,
it confused me because in those moments I thought that I wasn't enough. I thought God didn't love me. And
yeah.
so I signed a deal, one of those 360 deals, completed a whole album in Atlanta, super excited, got flown to the Bahamas, and my attorney was back in the States and sent back my contract, everything whited out. And he was like, whoever gave you that contract, run, because they're going to own you. You're going to be a slave.
Wow.
I got so devastated, I said I didn't want to ever sing again. Fast
Yeah.
forward many years later, I met my husband, and I've told him the same story, and he was like, "I need for you to sing," and I was like,
Mhm,
I don't want to sing anymore." And one
mhm,
day, he took me to the studio, and he wrote a song, and he wanted me to sing the hook. It kind of got the fire back burning, and
mhm,
God affirmed to me that the reason why it didn't work in the secular world is because you were created to do Christian music, and so
mhm,
since then, I've been working with your amazing manager and producer, Steve Wimberly, and he's produced some amazing tracks for me. We're working on my husband's life story, Bishop. We're working on my book, More Than a Trophy. So I'm been going in the studio for a few years, but we've said this year we're going to actually put out a single or at least an EP and let that just, see what that do while still in the studio. Music is my passion, writing and singing. I sing praise and worship at church. But when you've been hurt and broken, it takes a lot to put those pieces back together. And I can sit here and I can have this amazing interview with you, but at the end of the day, hurt. And so I'm doing my best to just keep that hurt in the past, send it to the sea of forgetfulness, and not pick it back up. And
yeah.
just move forward and don't put it on the to-do list, but put it on the done list.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes. And how do you just keep it in the past? You're like, I'm just gonna keep it out there, like you said. What do you do to make sure it stays out there?
I die to myself every day. I die
Mm,
daily. Every day, even at night, in my sleep, something from the past will come up. Remember this happened, or remember that, or Facebook love to throw up an old picture or something, and I have to remind myself that that person no longer lives here.
mm,
That's a part of my past, and
mhm,
I'm taking charge over my thoughts. So when a
mm,
thought comes into my head from the past that is something that I don't want to um, entertain, I tell
mhm.
myself, you know what? No. Instead of sometimes, you sit about and you think about it. I do my best to not even sit and think about it no more. Nope,
Mhm,
nope. Get out my head. I'm not
mhm.
picking up no passengers
Yeah.
in my car. If I'm riding and I see somebody I'll give them some food, but I'm not putting you in my car. So if an
Mhm,
old thought come in my head, no, you no longer live here. Those thoughts belong to Shorty and Nico, who I used to be. Now
mhm.
I'm Lady Barrett. So you do not get to ride in my head. So I have to do it daily, sometimes a few times a day, because anything can trigger you. And so when
Right.
something trigger me, whether it's the smell of the cologne or somebody an old car that the old ex used to drive, all kind of crazy stuff, trigger you. And I keep it real all the way 100 with myself, because I used to pretend to
Mhm,
myself, but when the thoughts come in my head, I pray and I just say, nope, you cannot stay. If it stay for a few minutes or a few hours, because thoughts can be strongholds, but
yeah.
I start praying and I rebuke them best I can. And I tell my
Mhm,
children the same thing. I have to be in control over my mind, because if I'm not
mhm.
in control over my mind, somebody else is. And there's only
Right.
two, the devil in the Lord. There ain't no cousins. Either you serving God or you serving the enemy. We have these little gray lines that people want to, oh, you straddle the fence. Either you of the world or you out the world.
That's right. That's right.
You know, it's not as simple as I try to make it out to be, but
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
It's
you're
not as simple as you making it out to be.
yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, it takes work.
Yeah,
It
lots of
takes work to keep those thoughts out of your head. I mean, you know, I get them too. They come up. You know, I've been in the business too. You know, I've had, you know, relationships and everything too, and they'll come up and they'll try to hang out, and you really just have to like fight them off or starve them out of there. You like gotta get them out because they
Yes.
will hold you down, and like you said, they could become strongholds.
Yes, and just like how we no longer will text back our ex or our old friends. That's what I do with my old thoughts. Nah, get out of here. No,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about you. No, I rebuke you. And if I gotta, whatever I gotta do, write a song, sing a song, think a thought, no stinking thinking in my head.
Right. How can women learn to embrace their self-worth and break, and like well, we just talked about it, break free from those past limitations? And to me, when I'm asking that question, I'm thinking about, again, staying in the moment. Like, what would you say about that, to embrace your self-worth?
One of the things that I think is women need more is we need to love on each other more too.
Yeah.
These groups, you know, my More Than a Trophy group, there's a group called Global Women. There's a lot of amazing groups out there. Your show, just embracing women more. We find ourselves so busy finding fault in others. Oh, she thinks she this. Yeah, I do think I'm cute, don't you?
Right.
Oh, embrace. If we learn how to embrace each other more, we would learn so much from each other. We'll first realize we're not by ourselves. We will hear and learn from what to do and what not to do. And then we can incorporate that into our own daily routine. So again, like I say, you know, you don't have to call women and gossip, but you need to have somebody that you can tap into, somebody that you can look up to and that you can go to and say, hey, you know what? Today I just need I need a good word. You have to be able to have a good core group of people, and it don't have to be a lot, one or two, but there are so many amazing women organizations that are out here now that if you get a part of one, be in it and be active. More Than a Trophy, the goal is to have women of all ages, ethnicities, countries, and all walks of life to be able to have a page to go to. If you need something, you can go on there, look for something. If you need one-on-one, you know, counseling, if you need advice, you can be able to go on there and be able to see, oh, here's someone else's testimony, here's someone else pain. You know, in this world, we cannot make it by ourselves. We need a village. And you're only as strong as your village. So just be open. Be open. You know, oh, I've been hurt. I got a wall. Well, that Jericho wall got to come down.
Yeah.
Because walls become like prisons. And so many people are in prisons without a warden. Get paroled out of there.
Yeah. I used to say I did my time. I'm done with that.
Girl, I did my time too, honey. I did my time, and I don't smoke no cigarettes, and I ain't never been to jail. Okay, never been in jail, but I done did time. I done been in prison, in my own little prison, and wasn't nobody writing me. Wasn't no secretary.
Nothing.
No, it was no coral links. It was terrible, and I'm like, how did I get here? Put yourself there.
Yeah.
Break out.
Yeah. Break out.
Break out. It's breakout time.
It really is. That seems to be like the theme of this year. That's it. Breakthroughs, breakouts. It's happening this year.
Yes.
Even with all of this going on politically and everything, people are still like, look, It's time to break out. It's time to elevate, like to go to another level. Those things that held us before, they're not holding us anymore. Those things that we used to think about, like you said, no more stinking thinking. It's time to break out and break through. This is the season. And it's so interesting because the whole world is in turmoil. So when you hear these messages, and these are messages from God's people, of course, it's like, the faith that's coming out now. I don't think I heard it as much before, or maybe it's resonating more with me because where I am now, just hearing it so much more, and from women like us, and it's really good to see, because we have these struggles. And like I say, what's happening now. So, you being a woman of God, being first lady, only lady, how how would you tell people to keep the faith through the struggles, through this time of, being patient, to break out and break through?
Just do it. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, but hoped for. And so faith has to be faith over fear. They both start with the F. You can't just have faith. You got to live faithful. The woman with the issue of blood, had she stayed in the house and just kept for 12 years, people talked, nobody ever, do you need anything? What can I do to help you? Nobody know what that woman felt like. So that's what happens with us. But one day she decided, you know what? I don't care if they kill me. I don't care what they say. I don't care. I'm getting out of this house because I heard that there's a man that's coming to town. And if I don't get to him, I'm going to die like this. I don't want to die like this. So, to that woman who's staying in that marriage, whether it's abusive or just, unloved, to that mother who is struggling, a single woman, to that woman who feel like, I'm beautiful, I'm not beautiful enough, and I can't get a husband. I can have that faith. To that businesswoman who got everything but feel like you have nothing. Have that faith. Get up, get out, and do so. What is it that you really, 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 really love and want from you? Because when we are in that bubble, you're finding yourself being satisfied, being dissatisfied. So the woman with the issue of blood, it wasn't the fact that she touched the hem of his garment. It was the faith that she had by touching it. It was the faith bit unto her. Where do our faith lie? So no, it's not easy to have faith. It was not easy for me to pick up everything. Moved to California the first time at 23, the second time at 41 with 2 children, and one was diagnosed with a brain tumor. But I know I heard from God. Who are you listening to? People think you crazy anyway. So it's like, oh, I'm hearing voices. But are you hearing the voice of God? And it's God when it's impossible for you to do by yourself. That's when it's faith. When you know that when you are afraid to do something and it seems impossible and God tell you to do it anyway, that's when it's faith. Because if you can obtain it yourself, if you can see it, if you can get to it, if a man or a woman, that's not faith, because you don't need faith if you got $600,000 in the bank to go look for a new house because your house burned down. But if you have nothing and that house was gifted to you and that was a family heirloom and it burned down, now you got to have faith to say, okay, Lord, this was my house, and now what do I do? But if you got no money to go buy another house, that don't take faith. That take a phone call or a trip to the bank. Those are not the same. Faith is the substance of things that you are hoping for, the evidence of things not seen. So you have to tap into God. What do I do now? And listen. And sometimes we want to do a lot of talking, not enough listening. And sometimes we don't want to do enough talking. You don't want to ask God for nothing. A closed mouth can't get fed. So you have to ask God, God, these bills belong to you. You need to pay them. God, you allow me to get sick. You need to heal me. God, you gave me this gift. You gave me this pretty face. I feel like it's cursed. What am I supposed to do with it? Because people think that all beautiful women are happy. No, we not.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we feel cursed because everybody thinks you're so pretty. So then the men, they all at you. You don't even realize, who am I? Because you always got somebody at you and you don't take time out to get to know us or ourselves. So now I know me. I can go out with a do-rag. I can go out with braids. I can, take my hair black. I can make my hair blonde. And everybody don't have beautiful hair like you. You just wet it. But, but it doesn't matter, because whether we wet our hair and it kink up or curl up, you have to get to
I know you weren't talking about me, right? Did you say that?
Yes, I did, girl. You got that beautiful.
You wet this hair and see what happens. Wet this hair and see how it blow up. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say.
I've seen your pretty hair.
Talking to me.
But you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That's the perfect example, but that's what people assume. And so,
right.
And so we walk in a room, people automatically assume that you got it going on or I got it going on, not knowing that I just cried myself all the way before I got to where I'm going, not knowing that, I got on makeup because there's a black eye, or, people have no idea. So I'm just encouraging women.
Yeah.
Let's love on each other. But more importantly, love on yourself first. You cannot fix my crown if you don't know how to put yours on. When you get on the airplane, I was upset the first time I flew with my baby. She was 2 months old. And they said, if the air mask dropped down, secure yourself first before you secure your daughter.
Right.
I said, what kind of sense that make? And the Lord said, because if you can't breathe, how you going to help her to breathe?
Right.
So it's not being selfish by securing yourself first. It's actually being effective, which is why you have to go back to no longer caring. I found myself caring for everybody else and before myself, thinking I was being helpful. Helpful to who? Because when I broke down, the people that I thought was going to show up at the hospital didn't show up. The people that I thought that I could call on kept me on red. I come from a huge group of people that I used to call family. Now I know they're relatives, because relatives show up at funerals and family reunions.
Yes.
A small group of family, because family show up for you. There's a huge difference between relatives and family. There's a thin line between faith and fear. It's how we manage it, because I can have faith in the same thing that I once was afraid of, because you're afraid of the unknown, and faith is the unknown. It depends on how we look at it. If I have the two letters ON, if it's in your hand, it's on. If it's in my hand, it's no, because we're on two sides, separate sides. Right. If we flip it, it could be on for me and no for you. Right. What are we going to do with those two powerful letters? Because no can sometimes mean not right now. It doesn't mean that it's over. It just means not right now. God knows what's best for us. For those who don't believe in God, he knows what's best for them too. Those who are unbelievers, just because you are an unbeliever, do not mean God don't love you. Just because you are living in a sinful lifestyle, do not mean God don't love you. We don't go to heaven or hell for what we do. We go for who we are. If you die in sin, in iniquity, and never ask God to forgive you, never repented, unfortunately, you're going to go to hell. But if before you close your eyes, you say, God, forgive me, I repent, Lord, I'm sorry. We serve a forgiveful God. I want to be a forgiveful person, I may not forget what you did. I might not invite you to my house, but I'm going to forgive you, because I want the same forgiveness for myself.
Right. Right. Well, one thing I realized listening to your story, you know about the setbacks, and you know how to make them, turn them into comebacks. Tell us, how can we do that when people are feeling like, I was right there and I just couldn't. It just didn't happen. And you get mad at the Lord. Get mad that what is this? Like we had discussed. I did all of this, and this is what I thought was going to happen. Like, and you felt like you were promised. You felt like this is what you said. How do we take those that seem like setbacks and turn them into the comebacks?
I'm coming up out of that right now. I had to learn how to take my lemon and make it into lemonade by squeezing it, rolling it, rolling it, rolling it. So how we do it is don't give up. Don't give in. And if I keep trying the same thing, and I know that I heard from God, and I keep trying the same thing, I'm going to keep trying it until I get it, and I'm going to go refine it a little, tweak it a little. When you first learn how to braid, your braid is big and sloppy, then it get tight, then it get right. First learn how to cook, you burn your food. Then you learn how to fry chicken, better. First learn how to put on your lashes. You got one on your forehead and one, everything
Right.
that we try. I do not want my surgeon to go into cosmetology school. And I don't want the girl to do my hair going to surgeon school. I need for you to know how to sew this weave in, okay? Because it's a whole situation. You understand me? It's a talent to do this. I know how to do it, but I don't know how to do it. So stay true to what you know is best for you. But find out first what is best for you. And once you know that it is, it might take some years. I'm staying true to being a singer. God gave me the gift to sing. He gave me the gift to write. I used to write secular music. That didn't work. Many years later, he revisited and revealed to me, this is why you didn't get that deal out there in the secular world, because I was saving you for a time such as this. Your delay was not denied, but because I allowed you to walk through the valleys and the shadows of death, and you didn't fear no evil because I was with you. Now you're able to sit on talk shows years later, and I still look like I'm in my 20s, I hope, but I'm 53. I've been through some things. I know how to educate some people. So the things that I went through were not in vain. So you won't know what you're going through, if it's in vain or not, until you allow it to harvest. There is TEST, test. But to get to that testimony, you're going to have to moan. You're going to have to get on your knee. Nobody be bragging about, oh, I got a test. But let the bishop say, you got a testimony. I got a testimony. You want to brag about the testimony. But in order to get through the testimony, you had to first pass the test. And when you are taking whatever test you're taking, they're quiet. So when I was upset with God because he was quiet, he said, yeah, I was quiet because I know what you can do. I know what you're made of. And if I gave you the answer, then I cheated for you. And I love you so much, I had to make sure the you were dead. He even sent me with representatives, Shorty, Nico. No one knew. Some people don't even know the Shorty and Nico and Lady Lakisha are the same person, but they're three different personalities. And when I moved here, I used to tell people my name was Shorty. Then I was Nico. Now I'm Lady Lakisha. Why? Because Shorty had to be able to survive in Shorty's world. Nico had to be able to survive in Nico's world. And Lady Lakisha had to be able to mirror all those together and explain to some young 10, 13, 16, 21-year-old, I've been there. I know what it feels like to want to be somebody's a singer or actress. It took for me to marry a man to write me into a movie. I did many auditions, many auditions, and they said no. But you and I had the pleasure of being in Beyond the Shield, and that's still on Tubi, and we have another movie that's getting ready to come out. So just because we are older, if people drink, and I'm not encouraging nobody to, but the oldest cognac costs the most. The oldest wine costs the most. The aged steak costs the most. People want all the people to, give me the blessed oil. Well, that oil used to be an olive that had to get crushed. Then somebody had to deny themselves food to fast and pray to make that oil anointed. You can't just go to Ralph's and snatch some olive oil off the counter and talk about it's blessed oil. No, you got to concentrate that thing. You got to deny yourself food. You got to put it before the altar, pray over it. That's why it's blessed oil. It don't have no magic in it. It's just a symbolic thing that we do. So we have to have symbolic things in our life that we have to be willing to give up. First thing we got to be willing to give up, die to ourselves daily and know that whatever I didn't do yesterday is behind me. But we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Don't get mad at me because I woke up at 5 o'clock and you woke up at 8 o'clock, but we both were supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. Somebody else woke up at 4 and worked out till 5. They prayed from 5 to 6 and then they ate right. And then you supposed to be there at 9. You woke up at 8:45. You get there, you mad at me? No, you had the same opportunity, but you handle it different. So instead of being mad at those who are doing, get on the doing list. And it is not easy. You know, I tell my children all the time. I tell my members all the time. What I'm telling you, I know it works because I'm a product of what I'm speaking about. And I'm doing it to and for myself every day. I have to not be a procrastinator. I have to get on that do list. And I have to remind myself that I'm more than a trophy.
You wear so many hats. You're a leader, a mentor, artist, wife, mother. How do you balance it all?
When I'm at church, I am Bishop's wife. When I'm the first lady. When I'm at home on our boat, I'm my husband's wife. When I sit down with my children, my daughter once told me, Mom, I don't want the first lady. I want my mother. So when I'm dealing with my children, I'm in mommy mode. If I'm counseling one of my members, I'm in counseling mode. When I'm in the studio, I'm the singer. And then when I go with my girls, I'm their girl. You know, I love going to get my hair and my nails done and going to the spa and having, you know, girl days out. I have to learn that I'm not my titles. Those are titles, but I'm a woman. I am God's daughter. I'm his favorite daughter, if you ask me. I am my husband's wife. I'm my children's mother. I'm my mother's daughter. I'm a homegirl's homegirl. And so I don't try to make me be all those things at one time. It depends on, you know, sometimes I'm talking to my homegirl and I'll be like, look, I don't want you to talk to First Lady right now. I want you to talk to Keisha.
Right.
Let's talk to Keisha. And they're like, okay, what Keisha talking about? Girl, listen, I'm gonna have some problems, you know. And then sometimes it's like, you know, I hear what you're saying, but let me put on First Lady hat because I'm gonna have to tell you from a First Lady perspective and not from a homegirl's perspective. My daughter, you know, listen, Mama knows best. Y'all only know me as a First Lady, but baby, I'm Googleable. You better Google me and find out who I used to roll with. You know what I'm saying? You know, my grandson, he the funniest. He like, G-Ma, you don't know how to throw no football? Give it to me. And I throw the football. He's like, you know how to throw football? Yeah. So when I'm with my grandchildren, I'm grandma. And that's the best way for me to be able to be effective in all those roles. Take one role at a time.
Yeah. With all that you've been through, being First Lady and all that you came through from early on, how has the role of wife and mother shaped your journey?
It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Because since a little girl, I always wanted to be a wife and a mother. You're gonna make me cry. To be responsible for someone and to have someone look to you for guidance and for answers and love is just amazing. To have a husband that not only love me, but include me in the things that he do, because I'm not just his wife, I'm his friend, I'm his business partner. You know, we laugh together, we cry together. When I met my husband, he was in the halfway house, baby. Okay. And so I got him off the bus, you know, and that was so unlike me. But God told me that was my husband. So I just love being, because I'm a love bunny. I love being able to be his wife, be my children's mother, my grandchildren's grandmother, because ultimately that's what I just love to do. I love to love and I love to receive love. And when I know that I'm giving it to those individuals, I know when they give it back to me, that is real.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. You said that God told you that he was your husband.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? Like, tell us about
March the 3rd, 2013, I was at a little church and a prophet came there. It was a really bad day for me.
that.
That Sunday, I wasn't going to go to church. It
Mm.
was like a real bad morning. I didn't want to go. And the Holy Spirit kept saying, go to church, go to church. I had a little bit of gas, no money. I'm like, what am I going to go to church for? But I went.
Mm-hmm.
There was a prophet Wilcox. He came, and the seat that I used to like to sit in, because people got their favorite seat. Somebody was sitting in it, so now I'm in my feelings, and I sit
Right. Why they sitting in my seat? That's my seat. I know about it.
sit on the front row. And I didn't want to sit on the front row. Sit on the front row. The prophet comes in, and I was raised Baptist, and this was like a Pentecostal church. Didn't even know the difference. I'm just trying to be in a church where my kids can run and act the fool, because that's what they was doing. And all the other bougie California churches didn't want your kids to act the fool. And so, I went to this church. So get to the church, and the prophet is prophesying. He's like, there's someone in here. He said, you stand up and read. And I'm like, that's why I didn't want to sit on the front, because I don't want to read out loud.
Right.
So I'm reading, and he said, stop. He said, God said to tell you, there's a woman. He named 2 women that I knew. He said, they're not your friends. You need to get away from them. Then he said, God said, there's a man in prison. He needed to be there. He's going to come home and change your life. At the time, someone that I had dated for years was in prison. I thought that they were talking about him. Come find out it wasn't him. And then he looked at my daughter and he said, the devil tried to kill one of them babies. Are those your babies? And I was like, yeah, my daughter had a brain tumor. And I got up and I ran out the church, because I'm like, see, this is why I don't be like to go to church. Y'all tell people business, and y'all just made me sick. He said, go get her. Right. They ran out to me, came back and got me. When he said what he said, I ran out after he said there's a man in prison. I felt like they had told my business. So then when he said about my daughter, and I'm like, but when he called out those women names, it was 2 names. I was like, whoa. And he said, God said, I see contracts. He said, I see a new car. God said that you're supposed to be here. Now, nobody didn't know that. I know God told me to move to California. When I got ready to move, God said, what are you running from and what are you running to? Because one of my ex, who was a NBA basketball player, had, assured me, I'm going to get you a house and, take care of you. I'm like, are you going to marry me? He said, no. Well, I'm wifey material. I'm not that little 20-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying? You got to make me a wife. I don't want to be another tax write-off for you. So when God confirmed to me that he wasn't supposed to be with me, now I'm mad with God. Like, you told me to get rid of the 0. Now you tell me it's a man in prison. Like me, I know you got a sense of humor, but I'm not laughing. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, I don't know about you right now, Lord. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you keep on messing up, God. You just keep on messing up. And so
you got 30 seconds.
Okay. So fast forward, my husband came out of prison. God affirmed to him that he had a wife that was in LA. And so the minister of music recorded the recording. And one day in Bible study, he said, remember when the prophet prophesied? I think he was talking about Pastor Mike. And he gave my husband a recording of the prophecy. And my husband listened to it over and over. And so that's when he ended up proposing. And so that's how God affirmed it to me. But I wrote him a letter and the prophet prophesied. And then I met my husband coming out of prison.
Wow. Oh my gosh. We only had a few minutes. I hate that we had to cut that story short. Just that story alone, we got to have you come back and tell it. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming on the show, being transparent, sharing your life with us. Look, everyone, we want to hear from you. What's one thing you're doing to embrace your self-worth and purpose? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. Lady Lakisha, thank you for sharing your wisdom and your incredible story of faith and empowerment. Remember, you are more than a trophy. Your worth is priceless, and your purpose is waiting for you. Lady Lakisha, look, you guys follow her online. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, More Than a Trophy, on Facebook, More Than a Trophy. And thank you so much for having me. I had a wonderful time.
I'm glad you did. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay connected to Planet Rock. Thank you once again, Lady Lakisha. I can't wait for you to come back. Please come back.
Yes, have me back. I'm coming.
Great. We'll see you the next time. Okay.
What an awesome show full of insight and inspiration. Thank you to our guests and listeners. Look forward to hearing us next week on envision-radio.com at 12 noon right here.